Stop. Just stop. Whatever you were doing before you clicked on this video, whatever noise was filling your mind, whatever weight was sitting on your chest, whatever conversation was playing on, a loop in your head, I need you to let it go. Just for now. Just for the next few minutes. Because what I am about to say to you is not something you hear every day. What I am about to say has been waiting for you. You are not here by accident. You didn't stumble onto this video because the algorithm was bored. You are here because something inside of you, some quiet, persistent whisper you can't quite explain, has been leading you toward a moment of reckoning. A moment where you finally stop trying to explain yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. A moment where you finally stop leaking your sacred energy into spaces that were never worthy of it. And that moment is right now. Here is what I need you to understand before we go one step further. The reason your life feels like it's been stuck, the reason the people closest to you don't seem to understand your hunger, your calling, your restlessness, the reason you sometimes feel alone in a room full of people who love you, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because something is right about you. And the very thing that makes you rare is the thing you keep trying to shrink. But today that changes. Because today I am going to tell you the truth that most people are too afraid to speak. Your next move must be a secret. Your silence is the most powerful weapon you have never used. And the life you are building, the real one, the one burning inside you right now, it does not need an audience. It needs your devotion. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a dream, a real one? Not just a wish, but a bone-deep knowing, and the moment you shared it, you felt the air get sucked out of the room. Have you ever felt the excitement of a new idea, a new path, a new vision for your life, and watched it slowly wither the moment someone said, "Are you sure that's realistic?" Have you ever felt like you are always 2 steps ahead of your own life? Like you can see things other people can't see yet, and it makes you feel more alone than it does. Special? If any of that hit you, if even one of those questions made your chest tighten, then I need you to hear this directly. You are not too much. You are not delusional. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are someone who arrived in this world with a specific kind of wiring. And that wiring, that sensitivity, that vision, that restlessness, that hunger for something deeper, something truer, it was never a flaw. It was a signal. A signal that you were built for something that ordinary thinking cannot contain. But here is the hard part. Here is the part nobody puts in the inspirational quotes. That signal also makes you vulnerable. Because when you are the kind of person who feels deeply, who sees clearly, who dreams fiercely, you also tend to talk too soon. You share too early. You hand your vision to people before it is strong enough to survive their doubt. And their doubt, even when it comes wrapped in love, even when it comes from someone who genuinely wants the best for you, it gets inside your head. It takes root, and slowly it starts to sound like your own voice. That is not a spiritual attack. That is psychology. That is what happens when a seed is exposed to frost before it has rooted. And you, chosen one, you have been planting seeds in frost for far too long. You have been doing everything right. Dreaming, planning, working, believing, but you have been doing it with the windows open. You have been letting people watch, and what they cannot understand, they unconsciously try to stop. Not because they are evil, not because they don't love you, but because your evolution threatens their comfort. Because your growth is a mirror, and most people are not ready to look. I want to talk about the breaking phase, because if you are watching this, there is a very good chance you are either in it right now, or you just came out of it, or you are heading toward it and you can feel it, coming like a storm on the horizon. The breaking phase is not a punishment. Let me say that again, because the world has lied to you about this for your entire life. The breaking phase is not a punishment. It is a preparation. It is the season when everything that was never truly yours, every identity you borrowed, every version of yourself you performed for other people's comfort, every relationship you held on to past its expiration date, every dream you chased because someone else needed you to, all of it begins to fall away. And from the outside, it looks like collapse. But from the inside? From the inside, if you are quiet enough to listen, it feels like relief. I need you to understand something about the psychology of transformation. Real transformation, not the kind that happens when things go well, but the kind that happens when things fall apart. It follows a pattern. First, there is the loss. Something ends. A relationship, a job, a plan you had for your life, a version of yourself you were holding on to. And the loss is real. The grief is real. You do not have to pretend it isn't. But then, and this is the part that most people miss, because they are too busy trying to rebuild the thing that just broke. Then there is the space. The space is not emptiness. The space is potential. The space is the moment between who you were and who you are becoming. And what you do in that space, specifically, how much you protect that space, will determine everything about what comes next. Here is where your mouth becomes either your greatest asset or your most dangerous liability. Because in the breaking phase, there is a pull, a desperate, very human pull, to explain yourself, to tell people what you're going through, to seek understanding, validation, reassurance, to say, I don't know who I am right now, but please see me. And that pull is understandable. But acting on it is costly. Because when you are in the middle of your transformation, when you are still clay, not yet formed, you are extraordinarily impressionable. And every opinion you invite in, every voice you give access to your inner world, every explanation you offer to someone who wasn't asking, it shapes you, often in ways you don't intend. The people who have come out the other side of their breaking phases, the ones who emerged not just intact but transformed, they all share one quality. They learned, in the middle of the fire, to be still, to close the mouth, to stop explaining, to stop defending, to stop performing their pain for an audience that couldn't hold it anyway, and to redirect every ounce of energy, every conversation they would have had, every word they would have spoken, back into the only thing that mattered. The work, the becoming, the quiet, sacred, furious work of turning their breaking into their foundation. I want to tell you something you may not have allowed yourself to acknowledge yet. You are already growing. Even if you can't see it, even if the evidence feels invisible, even if everyone around you is still seeing the version of you from 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, you are already growing. Let me show you what that growth looks like from the inside, because the signs of real transformation are nothing like what we've been told to look for. They don't look like success. They don't look like clarity. They often look like confusion, like solitude, like the feeling that you no longer fit the life you've been living. Sign 1. You have become more selective about your energy. There are conversations you used to have that you now find yourself walking away from, not from rudeness, but from a new awareness that not every space deserves your presence. You've started noticing which environments drain you and which ones restore you. That is not antisocial behavior. That is intelligence. Sign 2. You have started trusting your instincts more than you trust the opinions of others. This might sound small, but it is one of the most radical shifts a human being can make. Because we are wired, socially, neurologically, to defer to the people around us, to check our own perceptions against the consensus. And when you start trusting the voice inside you over the noise outside you, even when it makes you look strange, even when it isolates you, that is evidence of profound psychological growth. Sign 3. Silence no longer scares you. There was a time when quiet made you anxious, when you needed noise, distraction, stimulation, company. When being alone with your own thoughts felt like sitting in a room with someone you didn't like. But something has shifted. The silence has started to feel less like absence and more like presence, less like emptiness and more like clarity. That shift is everything. Sign 4. You've stopped needing people to understand your path. Not everyone will understand where you're going. Not everyone is supposed to. And a person in the early stages of their growth needs constant validation. They need people to agree that their direction is right, that their pace is okay, that their choices make sense. But as you grow, that need starts to dissolve. Not because you become arrogant, but because you develop what the great thinkers call epistemic courage, the ability to trust your own knowing, even when the crowd disagrees. Sign 5. Your inner world has become more real to you than your external circumstances. This is perhaps the most powerful sign of all. Because most people live entirely on the surface of their lives, defined by what they have, what they've achieved, what others think of them. But you have started to feel the pull of something deeper, something that cannot be measured or displayed or posted, something that lives in the quiet hours, in the journal pages, in the moments between sleeping and waking when the truth feels closest. That pull is not a distraction from your real life. That pull is your real life, calling you home. Now I want to talk about who you actually are, not who you were raised to be, not who your job says you are, not who your relationships have defined you as, not the version of you that lives in other people's stories. I want to talk about the you underneath all of that. You are a person of depth, and in a world that rewards surfaces, that rewards the quick, the flashy, the loud, the easily digestible, depth is not convenient. It is not comfortable. It is not always immediately rewarded. But it is irreplaceable. Because depth is what makes you trustworthy when everyone else is performing. Depth is what makes your words mean something in rooms full of noise. Depth is what makes your presence felt before you even speak. You are also a person of purpose. Now, I want to be careful here, because purpose is a word that gets used carelessly. It gets turned into a brand, a platform, a product. And I don't mean any of that. What I mean is this. You have a specific quality of attention that the world needs. A specific way of seeing, of holding space, of asking the question no one else thought to ask. A specific capacity for endurance that has been tested over and over and has not broken you, it has built you. That is your purpose. Not a title, not a niche, not a follow account. The quality of your presence, the integrity of your becoming. Here is the identity truth I need you to carry out of this video. You are not waiting to become someone. You are someone who is finally shedding everything they were pretending to be. And the person underneath all that shedding, the one that's been there your entire life, patient and steady and fiercely alive, that person doesn't need a breakthrough. They need a boundary. They need silence. They need protection. And they need you to finally, fully, irreversibly choose them. Choosing yourself is not selfish. Choosing yourself is the prerequisite for everything else. Because you cannot give from a place of depletion. You cannot lead from a place of self-abandonment. You cannot build something that lasts when you are constantly dismantling the foundation to give it to people who never asked for it in the first place. Let's talk about the specific kind of courage this requires. Because when people say be brave, they usually mean dramatic bravery. The kind that looks good on camera. The kind that comes with applause. But the courage I'm asking of you today is the kind that nobody will ever see coming. It is the courage to say nothing when everything in you wants to explain. It is the courage to protect your process when the people around you are demanding access to it. It is the courage to disappoint people in the short term in order to honor something greater in the long term. It is the courage to be misunderstood, possibly for months, possibly for years, without letting that misunderstanding talk you out of your truth. Psychologists have a name for what happens when we share our goals prematurely. It's called social substitution, and the research is sobering. When you announce an intention, when you tell people what you're going to do, your brain experiences a kind of premature satisfaction, a short circuit. The telling becomes a substitute for the doing, and the energy that should have gone into the action goes instead into the performance of the plan. This is not a character flaw. This is neuroscience. And the antidote is equally scientific. Close your mouth. Do the work. Let the results speak. But there's a second layer to this courage, and it's the one that nobody talks about. It's not just about protecting your goals from other people's doubt. It's about protecting your goals from your own need for validation. Because if you are honest, and I think you are, because you wouldn't still be watching this if you weren't, you know that sometimes you share your dreams not because you want feedback, but because you want someone to tell you they're worth it. You want permission. You want someone to look you in the eyes and say, yes, that thing burning inside of you, it's real. Go. And I want you to understand something profound. You are the only one who can give yourself that permission. No mentor, no parent, no partner, no spiritual leader, no number of likes on a post can give you the permission that lives inside the one act of choosing yourself completely and without apology. That choice is available to you right now. It doesn't require an audience. It doesn't require a special moment. It doesn't require you to have your life figured out. It just requires one quiet, fierce, non-negotiable decision. I will protect what is mine. I will work in silence. I will let my actions be my announcement. I will not shrink to make others comfortable. I will not expand to seek their applause. I will simply become. I want to take you deeper now, because the principle of sacred silence, of closing your mouth, of protecting your becoming, is not just a tactic. It is not a productivity hack. It is not a social strategy. It is an architecture. It is the architecture of a life built from the inside out. Think about the most powerful things in the natural world. The deepest roots are underground, invisible. They do not announce themselves, they simply hold. The most powerful ocean currents move in silence beneath the surface, unseen, unheard, yet capable of reshaping continents over time. The most transformative processes in the human body, cell regeneration, neural rewiring, the slow integration of trauma into wisdom, happen in silence, in rest. in the dark. And you are no different. There is a concept in developmental psychology called integration. It's the process by which fragments of experience, painful moments, lessons learned, identities outgrown, become unified into a coherent self. A self that is not performing, not pretending, not fragmented by the need to be different things for different people. Integration is the opposite of performance. And integration requires silence. It requires time alone with your own experience. Time that is not filled with input, not filled with other people's interpretations, not filled with the noise of social media, or the endless scroll of other people's lives. It requires the radical act of sitting with yourself long enough to actually know yourself. And here is what happens when you do that. When you create that silence, protect that silence, live inside that silence long enough to let it teach you. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop needing. You start receiving. You stop performing. You start being. And the people around you, even the ones who questioned your path, even the ones who doubted your dream, they will feel the difference. They will feel it before they can name it. They will feel the solidity of someone who has stopped needing their approval. And paradoxically, ironically, almost comically, that is the moment they will start to give it. Because confidence, real, grounded, integrated confidence, is magnetic. Not because it demands attention, but because it does not. Let me talk to you about the practical reality of what sacred silence looks like. Because I don't want this to be theoretical, I want you to be able to walk out of this video with something real. Sacred silence, first, means discretion about your direction. It means that your next chapter, the thing you are building, the life you are moving toward, the person you are becoming, is not a topic for casual conversation. It is not something you bring up at family dinners to gauge the reaction. It is not something you post about before it is real. It is a living thing, and living things need protected conditions to grow. Tell only the people who have demonstrated, through consistent action, not just warm words, that they can hold your vision with care. And if you cannot identify those people right now, then the silence itself is your container, and it will be enough. Sacred silence, second, means discipline in your inner dialogue. Because here is a truth that will unsettle you. The loudest, most damaging voice you will ever encounter is not outside of you. It is inside. It is the voice that tells you that you're running out of time, that other people are ahead of you, that your dream is too big, your timing is too late, your resources are too few. Closing your mouth to the world means nothing if you are still screaming at yourself internally. Sacred silence is also a silence of self-attack. It is the decision to stop being your own harshest critic and become instead your most honest witness. Not delusional, not bypassing. Honest, compassionate, clear. Witnessing yourself the way you would witness someone you truly loved in their most difficult hour. Sacred silence, third, means presence. One of the great tragedies of the modern world, and I say this not with judgment but with recognition, because I see it everywhere and I have lived it myself, is that we are always somewhere else. We are in our phones when we should be in our children's eyes. We are in tomorrow's anxiety when we should be in today's opportunity. We are in last year's regret when we should be in this moment's gift. Sacred silence is the practice of coming back to this breath, this room, this body, this moment. Because everything, every breakthrough, every insight, every true connection, every moment of grace only ever happens in the present. And you have been somewhere else for too long. Welcome back. Now let me tell you what this silence is building toward. Let me tell you what all of this protection and discipline and presence is quietly, invisibly, unstoppably constructing in your life. It is building an unshakable foundation. It is building a self that cannot be talked out of itself by a bad week or a dismissive comment or a comparison that has nothing to do with your actual journey. It is building relationships, fewer of them, but real ones, based on mutual recognition rather than mutual performance. It is building a body of work, a life of meaning, a legacy of depth that will outlast every trend, every algorithm, every cultural moment that tried to reduce your complexity. To a caption, it is building you, the real you, the one that has always been there. Patient, certain, ready. I want to speak now to the title of this video, because when we say God is furious, when we use that language, I want you to understand what we mean. We are not speaking of a punishing force. We are not threatening you with consequences. We are not suggesting that your stumbles and your struggles and your silences have landed you in divine disapproval. What we are saying is this: there is a force, call it God, call it the universe, call it your highest self, call it the deepest wisdom of your own being, that has been trying to redirect you for a very long time. And it has been patient. It tried with the closed doors. It tried with the ended relationships. It tried with the quiet voice you kept ignoring. It tried with the season of loss, the season of confusion, the season of feeling invisible. And now, right now, in this season you're in, it is not whispering anymore. It is not asking. It is not suggesting. It is, with the full force of everything that has been building in your life, every lesson you've survived, every version of yourself you've outgrown, it is saying, now. Move now. Become now. Choose yourself now. Stop waiting for the conditions to be perfect. Stop waiting for the permission. Stop waiting for the right moment, the right mood, the right amount of money, the right amount of support. The conditions will never be perfect. The permission is already inside you. And the right moment? It has always been now. The fury of divine alignment is not anger directed at you. It is urgency on your behalf. It is the universe looking at the vision it placed inside you, the one you keep delaying, keep diminishing, keep apologizing for, and saying, no more. The time for smallness is over. And you know it. You know it, because something in your chest responded to that. Something in you recognized those words not as hype or manipulation, but as truth. Because it is truth. Your truth. Speaking back to you through this screen. I want to close with you the way I'd want someone to close with me. Not with thunder. Not with hype. Not with a list of 7 things you need to do before midnight. Just with truth. Simple, quiet, lasting truth. You have survived everything that was designed to stop you. Every doubt that should have defeated you. Every betrayal that could have broken you. Every season of waiting that would have hollowed out someone who wasn't built the way you are built. You are still here, still watching, still searching, still, and this is what moves me most, still believing. Even when it hurt, even when it was embarrassing, even when you were the only one in the room who could still feel it. That stubborn, luminous, absolutely undefeatable belief that you are meant for something. You have never let go of that, and that is not weakness. That is the most extraordinary kind of strength I know. So here is what I'm asking you to do. Not dramatically, not publicly, not with an announcement or a declaration or a post that tells the world you've changed. Quietly, in the privacy of your own chest, I am asking you to make a decision today. A decision to protect your next chapter, to close your mouth to the people who cannot hold your vision, to close your heart to the voices, inside and outside, that insist your time has passed, and to open, fully, finally, without reservation, to the person you have always been underneath the performance, underneath the fear, underneath the years of shrinking to fit, into spaces that were never designed for someone like you. That person is extraordinary, not in a way that needs a stage, in a way that changes rooms, changes minds, changes lives, one quiet, deliberate, fully chosen act at a time. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are not alone. And you have never, not for a single moment, been forgotten. This is your last call. And you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Before you go, and I mean this sincerely, not as a performance, I need you to know why this channel exists. Last Call for the Chosen is not about hype. It is not about making you feel a certain way for 12 minutes and then leaving you exactly where you started. This channel exists because there are people exactly like you, who are in the middle of their transformation right now. People who need to hear that what they're going through is not failure, it is formation. And if this video found you, it's because you needed to be found. If something in this video stirred something in you, if even one sentence made you feel seen, or gave you permission to keep going, or reminded you of something you had forgotten about yourself, I am asking you to do one thing. Share this, not because I need the views, but because you know someone. You know someone right now who is sitting in their quiet, in their doubt, in their breaking phase, wondering if they are the only one who feels this way. Send this to them. Not with a big explanation, just, "Watch this, I thought of you." That's it. That's the whole act. And it might change everything for them. Subscribe to Last Call for the Chosen if you are ready to go deeper. Not just in motivation, but in understanding, in self-knowledge, in the real, serious, beautiful work of becoming who you were always meant to be. We go to places here that most channels won't go. Because most channels are trying to make you feel good for a moment. We are trying to help you build something that lasts. And if that is what you're looking for, if you are tired of surface and you are ready for depth, then you have found your home. Drop a comment below. Just one word. The word that describes where you are right now. Building, breaking, waiting, rising, becoming. Let the community see it. Let the people who are searching for someone who understands find you in that comment section, because you are not alone in this. You never were. Go be extraordinary. Quietly, deliberately, without needing anyone's permission. This was your last call. And you answered it.